Good evening. Welcome to this Wednesday edition of FSU Weather. I'm student meteorologist Jennifer Collins.
And I'm student meteorologist Sammy Squires.
And it's been active in the Atlantic right now. We have about 4 named storms in the Atlantic as well as other disturbances. So it is a packed show tonight.
And of course we have Florence that we are going to be focusing on, hitting the Carolinas in a few days.
Yep, we'll give you a full forecast for Florence that will actually be impacting the east coast of the United States as well as the other storms. Locally, though, we have some showers and thunderstorms making their way off towards the west right now.
And then maybe a few clear days here in Tallahassee.
Yeah, and thanks to Hurricane Florence
Yes.
for giving us some drier weather heading on throughout the weekend. But heading on throughout the rest of the show, we even have a national forecast, some actually fire hazards off in the west right now for those areas, as well as other cold fronts to talk about during the show. So we'll give you a full forecast heading throughout tonight. But the main story is those storms that are off in the Atlantic right now.
Yes, so Florence actually has been downgraded to Category 3 right now. It was Category 4 earlier on. We're thinking it's going to hit the East Coast as a Category 3 hurricane.
Yeah, it currently has maximum sustained winds of 120 miles per hour. Other storms that we're talking about is actually Olivia off in the Pacific, so we'll give you the full forecast on that too. But for now, we're actually going to send things over to the wall with Parker. He's going to give us a look at what's going to happen during the show today.
Yeah, thanks guys. So currently in our area, in the Tallahassee area, it's 80 degrees outside. It is a little bit cloudy right now with winds coming out of the north at 6 miles per hour. If we look at our FSU weather stem, those are those thunderstorms that did pass through the area about 2 hours ago. They're all gone right now, so it's clearing up throughout the nightly hours. You can see those thunderstorms as I was talking about earlier, a few lightning strikes here and there, but for the most part, they are gone right now. Current conditions outside, 80 degrees in Tallahassee, 87 over there down in Apalachicola, and our hotspot is actually Perry at 92 degrees. So much of the Big Bend region in the upper 80s to lower 80s. As for tonight, it's going to be mostly cloudy and pretty calm outside with 74 degrees. It's going to be a little bit cooler than we're expecting this time of year because we did have that rainfall that fell earlier. So I'm actually going to pass things over to Sammy to look at things locally.
All right, thank you, Parker. So here in Tallahassee, we are actually still looking at those thunderstorms that are passing out of our area. It is still pretty sticky outside with that rain starting to move out. But currently we are at 80 degrees. It is cloudy now. Some of that thunder is starting to make its way out of the area. But overnight, you can see those passing showers will start to move out of our area, but we may have a passing shower or two overnight. Our heat index is currently showing Tallahassee at 85. Now, this is the temperature of what it feels like. So if you look towards the coast, you can see they're feeling like it's 101 degrees right now. That is very hot outside, but that temperature will start to drop in the overnight hours as well. Currently, you can see temperatures right around 80 in Tallahassee. Near the coast, they are nearing 90 degrees. Apalachicola is 87 and nice and sunny. So very nice for that sunset over in the near few hours. Our dew points are still in the 70s, around 75. That is pretty sticky. It is feeling very sticky outside right now. With that thunderstorm starting to move out of the area. Our wind, we have just some light wind right now, around 7 to 8 miles per hour. Now that wind is helping pushing those thunderstorms out of our area. And into tonight's forecast, it will be mostly cloudy tonight, around 74 degrees. That temperature will start to drop throughout the remainder hours into the morning. As far as tomorrow, around 90 degrees is your marine forecast. Just some light chop, 2 to 3 feet, and that high tide is going to be around 6:50 in the morning, with that low tide in the afternoon around lunchtime, around 12:36 p.m. If you're heading to the beach, the air will be 90 degrees, and that water is going to be kind of close to it, 83 degrees. Not quite going to cool you off. It will be partly cloudy outside, but that UV index is going to be very hot, so make sure you're packing plenty of water and sunscreen if you are heading to the beach as far as tomorrow. Tomorrow, 75 starting up your day. Later in the afternoon, it will be around 91 degrees. There could be a passing shower or two later in the afternoon, but it will be a fairly nice day out. And into tomorrow as well, 91 degrees. We do have chances of those PM thunderstorms, but not much rain on our forecast in the week to come. 20% for Thursday. Friday and Saturday, it's going to be beautiful outside, but very hot outside. So make sure you keep an eye on that for the weekend to come. And now we're going to take it over with Colleen.
Thanks, Sammy. Now I'm going to focus on what's going on with Hurricane Florence, where it's going and how strong it is. Now, we're well aware in Tallahassee that we should not see any impacts, but it is sure stirring up some trouble for the Carolina area. Now, this is the current track. Over the last 24 hours, there was a slight change, and I know it's frustrating having to stay updated, but it is important because now you see once it hits landfall, it almost stalls out and takes a westerly flow affecting the Charleston area, but it should drastically drop by Saturday at 2 o'clock to 80 miles an hour. Now the models are fairly narrow with where this track is going, but basically it's expected to go to the Southern Carolina area. Now this is a satellite view of the hurricane. The eye wall is clearly defined. Now if you are in the Virginia Beach all the way down to Charleston area, if you haven't taken preparations already, I would wrap that up going into tomorrow morning. By tomorrow afternoon, make sure to hunker down as it is expected to hit landfall. Now, tropical storm winds branch 170 miles out from the center, so even all the way up in Virginia, they can experience this strong winds with storm surges up to 20 miles an hour. And the thing about the storm surge of this hurricane is when it stalls out, it's going to be constant onflow wind, which will cause heavy downpours. National Weather Service did say catastrophic flooding, which is a word they do not use lightly. Now, another factor that also helps amplify this hurricane is you see all this red is hot water, and that can really amplify up the intensity of this Category 3 hurricane. Now, again, that onflow wind will help raise the rainfall up to 20 inches, even 7 to 10 inches as we go into northern Virginia. So make sure to stay prepared, help your neighbors. If you have elderly neighbors, make sure they are secure and their house is ready for this hurricane because it will be a major hurricane impact. Now I'm going to send it off to the desk. What's going on, guys?
Thanks, Colleen. So again, yesterday we were answering some of your viewer questions here. We do have some viewers out in the Carolinas. So Parker and I are going to continue answering those questions today.
Yeah, so our first question comes from Hunter Hill. He wants to know what the storm surge impact will be for Hubert, North Carolina.
Yeah, Hubert, North Carolina, just north of Wilmington. So we're expecting the center of the storm to actually go right around Hubert and then basically stall there. So storm surge could be in the range of 8 to 10 feet maybe.
Yeah, 8 to 10 feet sounds about right for the expectations for storm surge for the Hubert, North Carolina area. But what about the rainfall?
Rainfall, again, Jennifer's going to get into that in just a little bit of the rainfall, but as much as 40 inches of rain is possible. Isolated amounts of 40 inches, maybe.
That's an insane total amount of rain.
Yeah,
that's almost as much as Harvey produced last year.
Yeah, and that could honestly double the state records in terms of rainfall for the state of North Carolina. So a lot of rain is expected up towards the Wilmington area. Our next question is from Taylor Reckner. He was wondering what the impacts are going to be like in Charlotte, North Carolina.
So for Charlotte, North Carolina, they're not expecting too much. The center of the storm isn't supposed to go over their area. They're expecting 4 to 6 inches of rain with possible tropical storm winds.
Yeah, much less impacts than we were predicting a few days ago. So that's pretty good for Charlotte, North Carolina. Next question is from DJ Updates. He was wondering the impacts for Georgetown and Conway, South Carolina, which is just south of Myrtle Beach.
Yeah, they can expect some storm surge, 4 to 6 feet in that area with with rain near 5 inches.
Yeah, that's when the storm is really going to stall and move down to the southwest. So the impacts have gotten worse, predicted over the last few days. So you might want to keep updated on that forecast.
Our next question comes from Corey Wooten. He asked, what will Hurricane Florence's impact be on the Brunswick nuclear power plant in Willington, North Carolina?
Yeah, so that nuclear power plant was being monitored by the EPA, and with the storm surge we're predicting near Wilmington, again we were saying in the 9 to 13 foot range, maybe it could. I don't know if they have evacuated that nuclear plant, but they probably might have already, given a storm surge like that.
Yeah, given the circumstances, they most likely have evacuated that power plant and make sure that all the precautions have been taken.
Yep. Finally, we have a question from Travis Page, and he was wondering the tides up towards the Chesapeake Bay, if the storm surge would allow some of that water to go into Potomac later in the week, given that it's been very saturated over the last few weeks from the recent rains.
Yeah, that is a very possible outcome from Hurricane Florence.
Yeah, so keep sending in your questions. We're going to continue this as we go into tomorrow, given that Florence will be nearby the Carolinas going into tomorrow. But for now, let's send it off to Dylan with our second local forecast.
Thank you very much, Michael. And we can see Hurricane Florence right now just off the coast. You can start to see it come into the radar picture, but on the satellite it's being picked up. And we're looking at the general pattern right now. There is a cold front draped down through most of the central part of the U.S. This is expected to move eastward, but not really affect our area. It's going to die out before it gets here. We are seeing some showers by our area right now. We did have some nice little showers move through, and we do have a little more showers behind it. But we're starting to clear out as we get into the nighttime hours. So as the sun sets, you're not going to get that daytime heating. You're not going to get these storms firing up. And this is mostly moved out for today. But again, don't rule out a shower or two. And as we look at our current conditions, this is drastically different than this morning. I remember walking outside and it being clear skies. And then I looked out. I was down in the basement all day. And then I saw clouds all around. And it's kind of like that weather meme where it's like Florida 1 minute, Florida the next minute. Just drastic change. Seeing 80 degrees and cloudy, rain still possible. Not very strong winds though, only at 6 miles per hour. Looking around the region though, you do see these cooler spots. This lighter orange indicates cooler temperatures. That's where you've seen that rain-cooled area. We're only seeing here 80 in Tallahassee, but in Thomasville, where they haven't seen rain at all, and Valdosta, 88 degrees in Thomasville, 90 in Valdosta. So they're seeing warmer conditions, clearer skies behind those areas of showers. That's because they haven't seen that rain. And as we look at our dew points, a lot of the dew points are very high, and we're going to see a lot of moisture, but that's going to change in the next couple days. You'll see the pattern, and as we look at the winds, you start to see these northerly winds. We're not used to this. It's been usually southerly or drastically easterly. We're starting to get those easterly northeast winds. That's going to continue, and it's going to bring drier air masses into our areas and lower our rain chance for the next couple of days. Looking into tonight's forecast, rain still possible, but only 74 degrees. Not super cool, but not great. It's still summer. We're not in fall yet. It's coming around the corner though. And as we look at our marine forecast as well, 90 degrees, a kind of another rainy one. You'll see more of the showers on the coast rather than inland. Seas not too bad, only a 2 to 3 foot wave. And winds not that bad, only 5 to 10 knots. So not a bad marine day. And then going out on the beach, if you want to enjoy the beach just a little bit, 90-degree day. That's not too bad for a beach day. Seas not bad, but UV index is pretty high. We are still in summer, so make sure you apply that sunblock. And looking for your day planner tomorrow, waking up, you'll see clearer skies, 75 degrees. Then getting into the afternoon, we see 87 degrees. And by 4 p.m., we're going to see those showers come back into our area and those temperatures jump up. And as we look at your next 7 days, we're only going to see 20% chance for tomorrow, but as that drier air moves in due to Florence's impact, we're actually going to see our rain chances drop out and be 0%. And as we get into Saturday or Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday and Wednesday, we're going to see those rain chances come back into our area. Michael?
Yep, thanks, Dylan. Let's take a look at the national picture right now. Again, the main focus is with Florence out towards the Carolinas. But for the rest of the nation, not pretty bad in terms of your weather right now. Up towards the Midwest, pretty comfortable conditions with 79 both in Kansas City and in Chicago. Very hot out towards Denver. They did have some record highs out there yesterday, but right now in Denver it is 92 degrees with mostly sunny skies. Dew points, if you're east of the Rockies, you can still feel that very humid moisture in the air. 60-degree dew point in Kansas City. Not as bad in Chicago with the 51-degree dew point, but out towards the Rockies, very dry air in terms of your dew points, 23-degree dew point in both Salt Lake City and in Denver. Now, satellite and radar, you saw the higher dew points in the southeast. That was because of a very weak boundary still present in the southeast. That's what's causing all these showers and thunderstorms. We still have rain down towards Houston, and that's not really going to help them, as we're expecting a tropical disturbance to head up towards southern Texas by the end of this week. And then off towards the Carolinas, they are getting some scattered showers and thunderstorms right now. That's only going to be a precursor to what's going to happen the next few days with Hurricane Florence. You can see right on the edge of our view right now. Again, out towards the southeast, scattered showers and thunderstorms due to that frontal boundary, with Florence starting to make its way towards the Carolinas. A lot of rain out towards southeast Texas, and that's basically saturating the grounds ahead of this tropical disturbance down towards the Yucatan Peninsula. Again, off towards North Carolina, no surprise here, with rainfall amounts expected to be well into the double digits. We have a flash flood watch out till Saturday evening that might be extended further given the slow movement of Florence. Out towards the southwest, it's a much different story. Very dry, no monsoonal showers at all out towards the southwest. And as a result, we do have fire weather watches and warnings up towards pink for a lot of Nevada, a lot of Utah, and the western portions of Colorado. Again, the drought situation, it has improved somewhat with the monsoon, but we still have a lot of exceptional drought in the middle of the Four Corners, and we're not expecting much changes over the next few weeks. Now, for your storm outlook for tomorrow, the reason why we're introducing a marginal and a slight risk out towards the Outer Banks, that's because of Florence. When you're in that northeast quadrant of the hurricane, that's when you get the different wind directions with varying heights. So we are expecting some isolated tornadoes as we go into tomorrow. Here's tonight's forecast with a stalled out boundary in the southeast. And then in tomorrow, we are expecting Florence to make its way out towards the Outer Banks. Pretty warm and hot depending on where you are in the center part of the country. But for now, let's send it back to the desk.
Thank you very much, Michael. We're going to talk about the Safford-Simpson scale as we've been talking about hurricanes all show. We're going to explain what each category means and what its impacts are.
Again, we do have those 4 storms now named in the Atlantic, going from Florence, Isaac, Helene, and Joyce currently. And we're going to start with the Category 1, which is sustained winds about 74 to 95 miles per hour. Very dangerous wind, which will produce a lot of damage. And then
we have Category 2, which is 96 to 110 miles per hour, and that's extreme damage, causes extreme winds causing extreme damage as well. And then there's Category 3,
which is 111 to 129 miles per hour. Devastating damage will occur here. These are the ones that have more serious warnings within them, serious wind effects, storm surge, and stuff like that.
Yeah, with Category 3 and beyond, you're getting into a major hurricane as the National Hurricane Center defines it. For Category 4 and 5, though, those are the same amount of damage. You're looking at catastrophic damage, and it's very, very strong winds. Those are 130 to 159 for Category 4, and then 157, and anything above that, Category 5.
And just remember that these categories don't take into effect other instances of hurricanes, such as rainfall, flooding, storm surge into account. The storms that are associated within the storm itself aren't exactly considered when categorizing them.
Right, we've talked about the impacts that Florence is going to have, and that's just not necessarily the winds. It's also all these other factors contributing to your area. Flash flooding, storm surge, those are the biggest impacts with this, but wind is a big factor nonetheless.
Exactly.
And as we look at Florence's wind field, we got hurricane force winds 60 miles out of the center, and 170 miles out, we got tropical storm force winds, which are 39 to 73 sustained winds as well.
And again, these winds do produce those high wave heights that we were seeing, I believe, the other day. I think the center is up to over 35 feet. And again, that approaching the shoreline will increase wave heights there, so be careful of flooding, especially on the coastline. Those evacuations are in place for a reason. Yeah, definitely. We want you folks to be safe if you're watching anywhere or know someone that lives in the area. We want you to be safe and take these precautions as this hurricane makes impact. And again, make sure you have your preparedness plan and everything else you might need. And if you are evacuating, we want you to be safe. We're going to send it back out to the studio now.
Thank you, guys. And it is the peak of hurricane season, so it's important to have those hurricane preparedness plans in place. We're already done with most of the earlier named storms. Florence is the only one that's currently on our first column. However, in the Atlantic, we still have Helene, Isaac, and Joyce currently named storms in the Atlantic. So the hurricane season is in its peak, so we are seeing a lot more storms making their way and popping up here and there. Hurricane Helene is located right here off into the eastern portion of the Atlantic. We also have Isaac just forming off towards the east of the Lesser Antilles, as well as Hurricane Florence threatening the eastern coast of the United States, and Joyce is just towards the north of the Atlantic right now. Hurricane Florence is currently off the coast of the eastern United States. We're seeing it as a Category 3 hurricane. But maximum sustained winds are at 120 miles per hour. We will start to see the storm making its westerly movement, and it will also, once it makes landfall, actually make its way off towards the south a bit. But as it's meandering off the coast, it will be about a Category 1 by Saturday, and into the weekend we could actually see a lot of rainfall in these areas. That's one of the major threats within the storm. The models are bringing this storm off towards the west and making landfall around the border of North Carolina as well as South Carolina. No matter where the storm actually makes landfall, the biggest threat with the storm is the rainfall associated with it. We could see about 20 plus inches of rain along the outer areas along the coastal regions of the storm, right where impact will be felt. But we could even see some localized rainfalls of about 40 to 50 inches of rain. And even off into the Appalachian Mountains, we could even see 7 to 10 inches of rain for some areas. We're keeping an eye on Tropical Storm Olivia in the Pacific. This is a Pacific storm that made landfall earlier today in Hawaii as a tropical storm. The maximum winds right now are 45 miles per hour. This will start to make its way west and move out of the area. Tropical Storm Isaac, off towards the east of the Lesser Antilles, is a tropical storm right now with maximum sustained winds of 60 miles per hour. This will start to make its way west into the Caribbean, making landfall in the Leeward Islands around Thursday afternoon, so Thursday morning. So this will be impacting these areas, but as it makes its way into the Caribbean Sea, it will start to lose its intensity quite a bit, even turning into 45 miles per hour around Saturday. The models are bringing the storm into the Caribbean Sea, and past about the 5-day mark, we are still uncertain about what the storm is going to do. It may end up in the Gulf, or it may make its way into the Yucatan Peninsula. Hurricane Helene is into the Atlantic right now, Category 1 storm with maximum sustained winds of 81 miles per hour, and also Tropical Storm Joyce, Subtropical Storm Joyce, just recently named within the past hour. It is a low pressure system. It is a subtropical storm making its way into a tropical storm by the end of this week. I'm actually going to pass things off to Sloan right now.
We're going to take it back looking at what's happening in our area. You can see we still have these storms going along I-10 now with rain and lightning associated with them going from east to west. And then again, looking, you see we still have this cloud cover happening over Doak. And currently it is 80 degrees and cloudy. We have cooled off a bit from today due to the rain we have had. And we do have light winds out 6 miles per hour coming from the north-northeast. Heat index, which is what you get when you combine the temperature and the dew point. You can see it's very warm in Perry and Apalachicola, where they haven't experienced a lot of showers yet. Again, Tallahassee and Quincy, cooler temperatures there because of the rain showers that have passed through our region. And again, southern Georgia really hasn't experienced a lot of rain yet today, so they're still a bit hotter. Current conditions, you can see not a clear sky in Tallahassee, but everywhere else is experiencing some sunshine. Again, 90s for southern Georgia, except for Bainbridge at 82. Tallahassee again a bit cooler, but then going back towards the coast, warmer temperatures. Dew point, which is the temperature which dew forms, is typical for our region right now. Mid-70s, which is what we've been seeing throughout this whole past week. And then wind speeds, again, you see these winds that are causing those storms to move across the I-10 corridor from the east to the west. And again, Apalachicola has some moisture coming onshore there. Tonight's forecast, you can see we have a low of 74 and mostly cloudy. Those storms might stick in our area a bit longer than what we're expecting, but then again, it should clear up following that typical Tallahassee pattern. And then if you're going to be out at the shore tomorrow, 90 degrees as your high, a bit cooler than we're expecting here tomorrow. Winds from the east at 5 to 10 knots. A moderate trough about 2 to 3 feet, and there are no advisories, but remember to swim in sight of a lifeguard. And if you're going to be tanning at the beach, Air 90, and then the water a bit cooler, 83, so you can cool off. UV index very high, so make sure you apply your sunscreen. Waking up tomorrow, we're going to be at 75, but immediately heating up to 87 at noon, and then again those typical afternoon showers at 4 o'clock with the high of 91. Going throughout your week, you're going to see that we do have a decrease in rain chance going into Friday and Saturday. So if you're going to be outside, those are the days to be outside. But the rain chance is picking back up going from Sunday to Wednesday again, following the typical Tallahassee pattern. Your highs are going to be in the mid-90s for most of the week, which is usual for this time of year, and your lows will be in the 70s. I'm going to pass it off to Jennifer and Colleen to close out the show.
Thank you, Sloan. And as we're closing out the show, we want to give a spotlight to all of our alumni broadcast meteorologists that are will be affected by the storm making landfall in the eastern United States.
Yeah, they're actually working at the news stations, and that is a big deal to have a major hurricane hit the area where, because everyone is looking on you. So here's a few of our alumni. We have Mike Mays and Mike Moss at WRAL in Raleigh, North Carolina.
We also have Aaron Clanahan in WNCN in Raleigh, North Carolina as well. And also Alyssa Pedgick, who is a recent graduate, which we know personally here at FSU. She's at WNCT in Greenville, North Carolina, just along the Inner Bank, so she will be affected there.
Yes, of course. And the infamous Zach Covey at WPDE in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, with the famous Good Morning Carolina. Now, I was talking to him a few days ago about how do they update the public and make sure everything is clear, and there's 4 stages that they have, and it's just really interesting. So best of luck to all of our alumni that are keeping the public updated and safe.
We also have one more alumni, Robert Whitehurst at WMBF in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina as well. So yes, we want to thank all of our alumni that's currently out there, because this is a big job to have right now. And you can also follow all of them on social media. They have wonderful accounts that you can keep up with.
Yes, on Twitter, Facebook, live updates, their news station you can live stream.
Yep.
So, and we also have Tevin Wooten from the Weather Channel. He is stationed in Virginia Beach.
Yes.
So he'll be doing live updates on the Weather Channel alongside Jim Cantori. So
yeah, it's a big job to have right now. So it's you can also follow us on Twitter. We post a lot about about our local weather at FSU Weather.
And like us on Facebook at FSU Weather.
You can also watch us live on YouTube. We stream live every night on FSU Weather /live.
And of course, the famous Graham. Catch us on Graham at FSU Weather.
You can send us your weather pictures there, and you might even be aired on our show weeknights here at FSU Weather.
Yeah, we love beautiful sunsets and sunrises here.
So here from Florida State Weather, I'm student meteorologist Jennifer Collins.
And I'm student meteorologist Colleen Peterson.
We hope you have a good evening and tune back in tomorrow.
Have a good night.